Hello, I just decided to come out here and see what kind of disaster we had after this heavy rain, and I see it got some of my leaves, but nothing bad. They'll spring back, I guess. They didn't get much water on this side because it's under the patio, so I may have to water those. But the ones out there did, the sunflowers and the squash or zucchini. I think this is a zucchini. I thought I had marked it. Yeah, that's the zucchini right there. Hopefully it'll have some zucchinis on it before long. I see I got moonflowers coming up down in here with my sunflowers. And it's really perked up my marigolds in here with this rose bush. Look at there. It's got 2 more buds on it. And that was just that cutting we stuck in there a couple of weeks ago. But I do need to get some of these big marigolds out and go put them somewhere else. There's too many growing all together. They'll kill one another out if I don't move some of them. And I don't know what happened to the peppermint. It just didn't come back up. It may still, I don't know. But we'll see. Time will tell. And if not, I'll have a rose bush there, I guess. I see 1 or 2 seeds that came up that have survived so far. It just gets too dry out in this section. But hopefully that rain has helped. And the worms or something is just eating my squash up. Not my squash, my cucumber. I think I'll put one in a pot and let it climb the tree. Let's see, I got a whole clump of marigold seeds come up right there. Looks like they're going to survive. And there's still some here. And I got some, that I planted all down in here. Coming up amongst all this other stuff, this other flower. And I don't know if the eggplant and the pepper plants will come up or not. That's going to be blooming before too much longer. And those are just before blooming. Those are all those Indian blanket flowers, the dark, burnt orange looking ones, which are so pretty. But see, I'll have marigolds all around the border here, the edge. Got zinnias right down there, 3 of them. That survived. My other cucumber vines didn't come up. I'm just going to have to put some in a pot, I guess, and put them out here to where I can keep them watered. But that's what those blanket flowers are going to look like. They're called Indian blanket flowers. They're like a burgundy with the yellow on the edges of the petals, which I think they're beautiful. And that rose bush right there, look at it. It is covered in buds. It's going to be covered in roses before much longer. Couple more days. And that one's going to be covered in the blanket flowers, the Indian flowers. They're hiding my totem pole back there. And I do have sunflowers coming up. There, that one survived. It'll be pretty when it starts blooming there. And I guess it'll drop seeds and maybe have volunteer sunflowers come up next year there. I may end up with too many. They'll hide out my rose bushes. Anthills have popped up since this rain. I don't know. I'm going to watch my lettuce. I don't know if this is a good spot for it or not, because I know it did real well when I put it in the backyard behind the shed. Still got bluebonnets. And my mums are fixing to open. They're burgundy. And I got 4 or 5 sunflower plants coming up. That's going to be something. Blanket flowers, and I got sunflowers, 2 of them. And I've got zinnia seeds coming up down there. That'll be pretty. Maybe when they start growing, that rose bush will root in and start putting out leaves. Like this one already has. Look at that little rose bush. And I got sunflowers beside it. And zinnias back there behind it. That rose bush cutting looks like it's dead. But we got sunflowers and stuff growing. And zinnias coming up. That rose bush looks good. It's starting to put out leaves and grow. And I got a zinnia with my sunflower. The rose bush is okay. It's got leaves on it. Sunflowers. Indian blanket flowers. I got zinnias coming up back there. And I forgot what that is. But it's some kind of flower I planted. And there goes all the moonflowers I transplanted. Look like they're going to live. But I got a bunch more of them I need to do something with around there in the front. Because, you know, I got big clumps of them. Just like the marigolds. When they get bigger, I'm going to have to separate some of them. Because if I don't, they'll kill one another out. The strongest one will survive. But all those little moonflowers look like they're going to live. Unless they get so dry, they die out. See, I got all the marigolds coming up all along in here. So it's going to be full of flowers. And with all this rain, I'm not going to have to water tomorrow. I'll just fill up my containers. So the next time I need them, and see, there's marigolds down there. And my squash, my mashed potato melons, and I think I got a squash in that too. But they're looking good. I don't know what I'll do if they start vining out. There's one fixing to open right there. That one opened. It was open last night. That's a whole clump of moonflowers, y'all. And there's another clump. They got to be separated. See, my little wildflowers are blooming. Moonflowers, I got a zucchini. It's not looking too good. I figured it would grow good there, but maybe not. And there's my bok choy. I shouldn't be coughing, y'all. It's been raining so much it's settled down all the dust. Peppermint. And I don't remember the name of that one. That come up from last year. Because I had several pots of that anonymous giver gave me. And that one survived the winter. I don't know, the squash does not look good. They're not getting pollinated good or something. See, that was a twin, and it's just dry rotting at the end. So I don't know about that. Now that one looks good. This one does too, so maybe the rest of them will. The first ones that come on don't look good, but maybe the rest of them after that will look good. And my sunflower, look at that. All my blanket flowers are opening. See, if I'd just waited and not mowed, they'd have been all over. They would have been covering this whole yard. But I always get anxious. I can't wait. And I think my yard looks messy, so I go mow. And then after I mow, I'm sorry I mowed. I wished I'd have waited. Now that rose bush isn't looking any good. My rutabaga just went away. But I do have zinnias. I planted a cantaloupe, but I think that might be it. Come up right there. But the rose bush cutting's not doing good. It's still green at the bottom, so there's still a chance. But I've got marigolds and other stuff I can put in there if that cantaloupe don't make it. But it looks like that cantaloupe just opened up. The seed just come up out of the ground, so it may be okay. And that rose bush is gone. It's history. I don't think there's any coming back to that. But I got 2 sunflowers there. So that'll be pretty. My watermelon. That's the black diamond watermelon. And I don't really think it gets enough sun on this side because it's under this tree. But I thought it would. But it's growing anyway, so. No, that's the Charleston Gray. Not black diamond, it's Charleston Gray. And those are looking good. They get a lot of morning sun back here. I think next time I'm not going to put one on that side. I'm going to put them all back here on this side. Because they get a lot more morning sun. And they're looking a lot better. But that's a black diamond and a Charleston Gray put in the same pot. And these are Charleston Grays. And these are black diamond. Look at all the the flowers. They're taking my pots over. But I'm going to leave them, let them bloom, let them drop seed, and go where they want to go. Don't know about my potatoes, but I got a sunflower here. And my poor squash, volunteer squash or pumpkin, cantaloupes or whatever they are determined they're going to grow. They're kind of bombarded in here with all this other stuff. And look at this thing, this big leaf kales or Chinese cabbage, whatever you want to call it. It's huge again. I got to cut some of them leaves off. It's blocking the sun from everything else. Look at that. My onions back there, they need sun too. But I said I was going to let them grow. The potatoes and my banana trees are still living. They're putting out new leaves. And I don't know what this is. It's some kind of squash or melon, winter squash or something come up voluntarily in this pot from whatever was in the dirt last year. So I don't know what to do with it. I'm just going to leave it there. Maybe it's not going to bother the banana trees. And here is, I don't know where the tag is. Sweet dumpling squash. I guess it's because they're like in like a ball, maybe. I don't know. I don't think I've ever grown sweet dumpling squash before. But I think they're going to be neat. And see, that's what I did yesterday in the rain. I come out here with this 32-gallon container. I put my hole in it last night and glued my screen on it. So I'll have plenty of water on this side of the garden to water, you know, on the days I can't water. And I don't know what happened to the basil that was in here. The seed just did not want to come up and do anything. But I got some other basil plants I can spread around. Maybe the leaves of the greens just shaded it so much it wasn't getting enough sun for the seeds to germinate and come up. I don't know. And this is a yellow squash. That poor tomato plant. I got two of them, so maybe one of them will survive. My rutabagas, those are looking pretty good. And I dusted them a couple of days ago, you know, for it to rain today or yesterday and wash all the dust off. That's volunteer sunflowers right there. And this is my pepper plant. That's one little pepper plant come up. It's supposed to be a hot pepper. And I got a couple in there. My greens, look at that. It's looking good. Over here. And still, I don't know what this is. I'm thinking it might be an early melon. Like a honeydew melon, because I had some here last year. I had early dew melons and I had cantaloupe. So I'm not sure which one that is. These get too much water, they're not going to survive. They'll drown. I can use that pot for something else. I got a Roma tomato plant there. I'm still waiting for my peppers to come up. My squash is blooming. And look at this. I'm going to have a sunflower in there this year. Look at that. Isn't that a pretty sunflower? And there's my yellow mandevilla. I hope it vines on up this trellis with the clematis. My rose bushes here are still looking good. They're leaving, you know, they got leaves out on them. Ones over here still look good. One on each side here. And my little buddy night light. See, those are going to be pretty. There's purple, there's pink. They just didn't get enough water last year. But I'm hoping with more water containers that I'll be able to keep them watered better this year so they'll grow. My yellow squash, starting to put out squash. Look at that. And I do have a couple of basil that have survived with the seed in these two pots. Yellow squash. I got another tomato here. And I don't remember which one this is. I didn't mark it. I've done it again. I put something out and I didn't mark it. This is mashed potato melon, a jalapeno, sunflower in the middle, and look at these tomato plants. Look at that with this rain. They've almost doubled in size. The beefsteak, the hillbilly tomato, and look at the one that come up from the slice of tomato. I got a jalapeno there. That's either a zucchini or a squash. Yellow squash. And my greens, look how they've come back to life since I harvested them about a week ago. My daughter-in-law said, aren't you supposed to let those head up? I said, no. These things don't head up. You just harvest the leaves and cook the leaves off of them. Harvest the leaves and they come right back and give you more. The more you harvest them, the more leaves they'll give you. Look at there, I got a volunteer lettuce. And this, I don't remember if that was zucchini, squash, or it could be a melon. But I've got my turnips. My carrots haven't come up yet. I don't know how long it takes the carrots to come up. And I don't know how long it takes the purple bell beauty pepper to come up. I can't wait to see that though, a purple one. My arugula came up in that pot. And look at this tomato. Those were from seed, y'all. Those were my little seeds I put in these little bags, grow bags that I made. My pepper there hasn't come up yet, but it will in time. But I can't get over these. They've really done some growing. All this rain has sure done wonders for my rose bushes. Every one of them just full of buds. And look at the chives, y'all. I'm going to be able to harvest some of these chives to replant. A canary yellow melon right there. I don't know how big the vines get or anything, but I figure if it vines out too much, I'm just going to let it go up to the top. All the way up. That's the rutabaga in the little pot. Rutabaga here. And see, there's something. Even though I put dust out and diatomaceous earth, something is wanting to eat my tomato plants. They've been eating away at that one since it's been planted there. I'm just hoping it'll survive. The rutabaga didn't. And I think that's a pepper. Not 100% accurate, but I think it's a pepper. And look at my bush beans. The bugs only got one or two of them. I mean, the plant is still there. They just chopped it off. The plant's still wanting to grow, so maybe it'll come back out and produce leaves like the rest of them. I don't know. And my Brussels sprout, the only one that survived all winter. Right there. And look, my bush beans are blooming. That means they're fixing to put out some beans. They're blooming up here. Pretty purple flowers. Blooms. And see, I put a hillbilly tomato back there. I'm hoping nothing will get it. It'll grow. My onions. I've got a red slicing tomato back there that came up from the seed that I put out. Let's check on these over here. I mean, look at this. Isn't that pretty? And again, you just harvest the leaves. You harvest the leaves, it'll turn around and produce more leaves for you to harvest again. And see what I'm saying? These vines have a mind of their own. They'll climb wherever they want to climb, not where you want them to. But they are climbing this pole like I wanted it. It'll climb on up and go to the top and do whatever up there. And this one here is too. Climbing the bamboo pole. And look at that one. So you definitely have to give pole beans something to climb on, because they're going to climb somewhere. And remember, I tried to get it to come on this one. And instead it went way over here and got on this metal one and started going up the metal trellis. Maybe with one of the other shoots will go up this pole right there. I don't know. This one's going up this one. They just have a mind of their own. They just twist and climb where they want to go. See that one latched onto the pole. It's going up. And over here, it's just latching on to whatever it comes to and going up. My sunflowers. And I think the rain just beat my lettuce to death. I've got a red slicing tomato there that I put. I've got one there that came up from seed, remember? And oh look, I moved my raspberry. It's a thornless raspberry bush, and it's putting out such long runners. Look at that. I moved it over here to the trellis, the arbor. And I'm just going to let it go up the arbor because I don't have anything else for it to climb on. My moonflowers are living in the cinder blocks. I've got a Roma tomato plant there. Hillbilly tomato plants there, 2 of them. Rutabaga there. Red slicing tomato there. 2 or 3 red slicing tomatoes here, if they survive. Because there's about 3 or 4 of them right there in the clump. And there's at least 3 of them there. So I'm still going to have some to pull out and transfer. One there. And I got one there. I've still got empty pots. But look at this. The poor lettuce. This is the green lettuce, and it's just got beat to death with the rain. But maybe some of it'll come back out. And that's a red slicing tomato from the seeds. So we'll have to wait and see what that's going to do. My walking onions. I need to take the chives out of here and use this pot for something else. But I don't know what I want to put in there yet, so I'll leave it. And I've put something there, I think a pepper. But something's eating it. All that's left is a little nub. I've got that. That's a Marconi pepper. So that one survived. I do have 2 or 3 that survived. There's a Marconi. There's a Marconi. And I got a Marconi pepper out there. It's a little bitty one, but it's there. Nothing's eaten it yet. That's a Marconi pepper. And there's a Marconi pepper. They're sweet red Marconi peppers. And look at this. The rain has just beat up my coleus that I put out here. But hopefully it'll come back. And I got a ponderosa pink tomato plant right there. And this is walking stick kale. That's some of that stuff you saw in the under the canopy that's growing so tall with the big leaves. That's walking stick kale. That's what that is, but it's a purple one. And there's a jalapeno. And my poor lettuce. It might come back out. I've still got this pot to do transplant too. I've got a hillbilly tomato and a red slicing tomato there if they survive. I got a jalapeno pepper plant there with my squash and my perpetual spinach, peppermint. And I just have not seen any blooms on this yet. But I'll give it some more Epsom salts in a few days. I'm going to put Epsom salts on it once a week, like they said, for several weeks. And it should get it to blooming. Look at all the purple ones up there. Didn't do too much damage to these. Hopefully they will survive. Look at where little Buddy is. Sound asleep. I put a coleus here in a little pot. But everything's looking out good out here since we got all the rain. Everything's starting to grow. It's going to look good when everything starts blooming. In fact, we've already got the Indian blanket flowers blooming out here. Right here. Got one of them anyway. But I had this thing full of mums for several years, but then it got so hot and dry on us, and then they restricted us from watering for so long, till I haven't been able to come out here and water my plants to keep them alive. So I've lost most of my mums. Hopefully my marigolds, my zinnias, my sunflowers, my Indian blanket flowers right there will make up for it this year. But I spent so much money on flower bulbs that I put in there. And I know they just completely dried up. But I do have a lot of seed that's come up. So I will have flowers. That mum there survived. It's been surviving. This one too. That's a little bitty. Oh, that's the blanket flower. Look at there. With my rose bush. I was anxious to see if any of the seeds come up here. You know what? There's been a squirrel bringing peanuts. Look at there. Peanut hulls up there. That was a squirrel. I was wondering what was digging up here, and it's a squirrel probably hiding his peanuts and God knows what else. And this was supposed to be like a little water pond, but the people that put the house here, they took the pump out of the rock garden there. I mean, the rock fountain. There's no water pump in there. The pond had cracked. You couldn't keep leaves out of it anyway. So I filled it in with soil, and now I'm trying to use it as a little rock garden. And the top of it too. But I'm hoping the marigolds, all of them come up. Look at the patches of them. It'll look good. I think the marigolds will live in the shade. And this is pretty shady back here. It's just not deep enough to plant anything that puts down deep roots. Look at that. He said, that's what I care about, all of it. I'm just going to sleep. I put coleus in these pots. One right there. You know, I had them up here. But then the anonymous sender sent me this great big hosta. And I didn't realize it was going to get as big as it's supposed to get. And I put it in this pot. And I said, well, that'll be pretty here on the porch. But I've got a little porch. It's not that big. So I'm hoping it don't get much bigger than about 3 foot. If it does, I'm going to have to move it. The pot's big enough for it, but the space I don't think will be. But it will definitely be pretty. And I noticed I got spring onions coming up. You know, I planted that dish pan in spring onions. And that is a... You know, I planted a hydrangea seeds in there. They're not come up yet. And this is Hungarian hot wax pepper, and they're coming up. Look at that. And that is a Hungarian wax pepper. So I got 2 of them come up. And I got 2 here, the Hungarian hot peppers. And I've never grown those before, so I'm anxious to see what they're like. And there's a yellow squash. All those pots are empty still. My walking onions, look at this. Look how tall that is. And this is a Better Boy tomato. I'll probably put a marigold in that little pot with it. Sunflower here with my chives. And I don't know what's going on with this. If they're not getting enough sun here or what, I probably need to move it. But it's so heavy at this point, I doubt I can move it. Those were the red potatoes. But I'm leaving them because, you know, they say the best way to do it is leave it till the tops die off. And that way the potatoes have reached their maturity. But I don't know if they're even going to have potatoes. And there's a jalapeno and a Better Boy tomato plant. And this is the Sun Sugar Yellow Cherry Hybrid tomato. And I don't know how tall it's going to get. Supposed to get full sun. It's not going to get full sun here. So I'm probably going to have to move it out to the garden area. Not the garden area, out where the canopy is on the other side, where it'll get sun. And there's another jalapeno with the sunflower. And that one tree collard is surviving. It's got some cucumber seed come up in there with it. Cucumbers are looking good. And see in the middle there, even though I've dusted them, something has chewed the top of it off. Look at that. It's crazy, y'all, why they do that to my plants. And I never did get out here to harvest my lettuce. And that rain just beat it down. Just beat it down because it was raining so hard. Pull it up a little bit. I'll get out here tomorrow and harvest some of it. That's what I said yesterday, and I never made it. But that's the romaine lettuce. And look at that. Something's eat that up. Goodness gracious. And I put dust on all this. I got a hillbilly tomato plant there with my I don't know if that was a cucumber. Yeah, cucumber. That might not be a good place for that cucumber. I don't know. It'll grow right up on that with the tomato plant, I guess. And my walking onions have walked. Look at that. They're all getting ready to bust open the top with baby onions to plant. These tomato plants are looking real good. And you know, these are all that started from seed. That's the gold medal plants. Gold medal tomatoes. I don't remember what these were, if they were gold medal or not. Yeah, gold medal. All 4 of them are gold medal. And I think these were the sweet dumpling squash too. Look how they look like little balls. That's interesting. I can't wait to see them when they're ready to pick. And I got a better boy here with a canary yellow melon right there. And I got eggplant here, 2 of them. It's like 2 of them in this pot. And this is eggplant. If they survive. Jalapeno pepper in with my asparagus. Put out more shoots here. Yeah, see, if I'd have went down any further, it would have bent and not broke. I need to take a knife and cut those off. But I got two asparaguses I can eat. There's a jalapeno. This is a Roma tomato. And there's a red tomato back there that came up from seed if it survives. I got a jalapeno here. There's a hot pepper back there. I think that one's a red one. And I think it was those slicing tomatoes, the one I put out with a slice that came up. These 2. And I finally got, looks like bell pepper trying to sprout out down there. I got a volunteer tomato plant there, a hot pepper there, and I got a tomato plant back there, if it survives. And I still have a tomato there that came up from seed, and I don't remember what kind it was. I think all of these were from seed, except the big one there, that's a better boy. That came up from seed there, and this one did too. So it's just a red tomato. I don't know. And that one is too, if something don't eat it up. It's like it's doing a good job at it. And my walking onions here, look at that. Reaching for the sky. And see how the bucket's filled up? I was out here last night emptying them in that big container. I need to empty these. Oh, that's weird. That one don't even have in it. I must have emptied it already. But I need to empty this one because I don't want it to breed mosquitoes. Let's see. See if I can set it up to where you can see what I'm doing. I don't think I'm gonna be able to. I'm liable to get the camera wet. That's the good thing about having these containers. If your buckets get full and you don't have to use them right then, if you got a big empty container, just pour it in there. And with that screen at the top, it's going to keep it from breeding mosquitoes. But if I left it in that bucket there, in a day's time, it would have mosquitoes everywhere. You just have to keep the leaves off your screen. So, that's how I do that. Then I put my bucket back. That way I don't have mosquitoes. And that's what I was emptying the ones over here. Oh, look who woke up. Little buddy woke up. But yeah, I rearranged my buckets. And at least got them up on something. So they're not so far down for me to either pour water into a smaller bucket. I can just tilt them over. Or I can dip a bigger bucket in it. Then of course I got this one. But I try to keep everything so I don't have mosquitoes. I don't want to breed mosquitoes. And you know, the least bit of water that you get anywhere, it's going to make mosquitoes. That didn't have very much in it, so I just put it there. And this one don't have but just a little bit. So I'm just going to put it right there. It'll run out the bottom. Because I do not want mosquitoes. See, I emptied all of these last night. And they still got some in them. They were full last night. I'm not worried about it. It'll drain out the bottom. But at least I won't have mosquitoes. Don't want mosquitoes. Know where else to put it. Well, put it up here. I'll make y'all dizzy. Yep, see, I don't want to leave that one either. Bring it out here and pour it in this one. Save it for when it's needed. Oops. Got some in here. My goodness. All of these have it. But like I said, when you're doing this, you're not only saving water, but you're saving all of that compost tea, any fertilizer or any of that stuff that went into that tote to feed that plant. You're saving to re-water with. So it not only gives me water to keep my plants alive on a day that I'm not supposed to water, but it also gives them more fertilizer or compost tea. Bone meal, Epsom salts, whatever you put in them. And Epsom salts is real good to put on your plants. In fact, I bought some the other day, especially to put on my mandevilla that hasn't bloomed. But I'll also put it on these have some in it too, so let me see. Don't know if I can set this up. I didn't bring my tripod with me, y'all. Maybe it'll stay there long enough for me to empty these buckets. They don't have much in them, but they got enough that they'll cause mosquitoes if I don't. And like I said, we don't want to cause mosquitoes. The rest of it. Put it in that big container. It wasn't a whole lot, but it's a half a bucket. And I'm going to pour it right behind you. Right behind the camera. Just like I did all the rest of them. Yeah, I really need that that other pot of potatoes out here, because they'd get more sun. Tell you what I'm doing. I keep forgetting that I got the camera. Well, it would work if I moved my fingers, wouldn't it? But you do have to keep your screen clean. I mean, you'll have leaves, all kind of stuff. You know, the best way to do that is I'm just going to take the top off of it. There. That cleaned it out pretty good. I'll do better the next time. And this time I only got 2 little 10-inch bungee cords. They were cheaper than those big ones. And the 2 10-inch meet in the middle. So they're the perfect size to put across. They're the perfect size to put across that. See, there's only 2 bungees, and they're 10-inch ones. You buy a package of 4 of those, 10 inches, for like $2.97. And with the sun the way it is out here, they don't last a long time anyway. So I didn't want to pay a high price for bungee cords to keep my lids down when I could buy 4 of these for $2.97. And it would do 2 lids, or I'll have the other 2 for when these mess up and I can change them out. And there's a little buddy. He knew I was doing a garden tour. He had to come out here. Yeah, he knew I was doing a garden tour. He had to come out here. And it's getting dark, y'all. The camera shows it lighter out here than what it is. But I just wanted to show you, I didn't really have a lot of destruction. It messed my lettuce up more than anything because that is so fragile. You know, the little plants. So I don't know if the green lettuces are going to survive. I may have to plant more. And if I do, I'll probably plant it under the patio in the 5-tier planters. That way it's kind of sheltered part of the day. And it's not out to where the heavy rain can hit it. Little buddy said this is his garden. Yeah, he said this is his garden. But all of that giant kale is looking good. Like I said, I need to come out here and harvest it again. Don't we, little buddy? We got to come out here and harvest it again. Cook up another batch of it. Let it grow back again. Look at that. He likes it up there for some reason. It's almost like he's posing with the little solar light. Look at that. I couldn't have made him get up there to pose like that. Basically the same way that little solar light is sitting there. He's something else. Yeah, he is. He's something else. And you can still see his boo-boo, but it's healing up. It's healing up good. If he just don't get in any more fights. Well, it's getting dark out here, so I think I'm going to end my video and go in the house. He hears all the dogs barking around. Well, I guess me and little buddy will see you on the next one. See y'all later. Bye now.